When you spend time in the kitchen and you're cooking a lot, you often need things like chicken broth or beef broth, okay? And the way that I'm going to be doing this here, you can use it either way for beef and or for chicken. Either way is going to end up working out okay. For the sake of ease, I'm going to be using a spaghetti pot. Spaghetti pot meaning there's a built-in colander. So that way after I'm done cooking everything, I can just pull everything out and I don't have to strain it. When you're making a broth or you're making a stock, you want to make sure that you end up using pieces of meat that have things like the skin on it, things that have fat, things that have bone in it, because we want to get as much flavor out of it as we possibly can. Now, some people are going to say, oh, you didn't rinse it. I have a video, okay, that every time that I make something with meat, especially chicken, there's always a peanut gallery that comes out talking about rinsing and cleaning your meat first. This is a very bad idea. I did a video explaining why, and I'm going to put a link to it. How am I going to do this? I'm going to put a link to the video, like up here, and then it's the truth about meat, cross-contamination, and all that other stuff. You do not need to clean off or rinse your meat unless you drop it on the floor or something. Other than that, don't worry about it. You're good. But watch that video and learn the truth about meat and cross-contamination. Now I'm going to be using fresh herbs from my garden. This is rosemary, okay? But you can use dried. It's not a big deal. It'll work just fine. That was about a tablespoon or so of fresh rosemary. Here's a bunch of fresh thyme. You're going to see that the stems are still on it because I'm not worried about the stems. They're not going to be imparting a huge flavor to this at all. But all of those leaves are going to end up coming off a little bit later on down the line. If you're using dried, you might want to use maybe a half of a tablespoon. Once again, this all depends on how much stock you're making as well as your particular taste, okay? I like strong flavored stock. A little goes a long way. That's how I like it. Now this is dried bay leaf right here, and unfortunately it's in pieces, but this is equivalent to about 2 to maybe 3 large bay leaves, okay? We can throw that in there. This is kosher salt, and I'm going to be putting about a half of a tablespoon. We can always add more later. You can use fresh ground pepper if you want, or what you can use is just peppercorns like this, okay? And we can go ahead and throw maybe, once again, maybe a half of a tablespoon of peppercorns in there. We need to throw some other things in there, like onion. This is a little onion. This is a little bit more than a medium. And then so I'm gonna basically put both of these guys inside there. And even though this sounds a little off or different, if you wanted to, you could technically just cut right down the middle of this, throw it inside there, don't even worry about peeling it, okay? If you wanted to. And then these onions are nothing that we're going to end up like actually eating. I guess you could later on, you could throw them into something else. This is really to extract flavor. Let's get rid of this. Now, not everybody will put this in their chicken broth, but I'm going to. And that is just simply some garlic cloves here, okay? And once again, you don't really have to, dice these up too much because we're just trying to extract the flavor out of them, and all this is going to come out anyway. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put about 4 stalks of celery in here, including the leaves. We're not going to, once again, we're not eating this. We're just trying to extract the flavor. Now I know a lot of you guys are going to end up making jokes about this, but they have jumbo carrots out there. And this one I got at the Filipino store. Same thing, I'm going to be washing this and I'm going to be peeling this. If you want to, you can peel this. Another thing you can do is you can just drag your knife across the back of it like this for a generalized peel. You don't have to have a carrot peel or anything like that. If you want to get a lot of this skin off, okay? And what we're going to do, that'll work. So this is what we've got so far. And now what we have to do is we have to start adding water till it fills up enough. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take this, we're going to put it on the stove, we're going to bring it to a boil, and then we're going to lower it down to where it's a simmer. So this has come up to a boil, and then I had turned it down, so that way it just kind of does a simmer here. Okay, because anything more than that, it's going to end up boiling over, and we don't want that. Okay, so this guy has been simmering for an hour. I started smelling a lot of thyme coming from the aroma of this. So I took the time out about 15 minutes ago. There should be enough thyme leaves inside here and everything to still maintain the flavor and whatnot. The chicken is cooked all the way. If there's any germs inside or any pathogens, they're dead. I'm going to taste this and I'm going to see if I need salt, if I need pepper, if I need la 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 la. Okay, give me one moment. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with the flavor of this broth right now as it is. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and let this cook for about another 30 minutes and just try to extract a little bit more flavor out of everything. And then at that point, I can take all the stuff that's inside here, either dump it, try to reuse it for whatnot. The chicken I'm gonna keep because that goes in the pancit. We've got a lot of broth here. I'm not gonna be using all of it in the next dish. I'm going to be using it in some other things, but this is something that you can use if you want to make homemade rice-a-roni, if you want to make chicken soup. This is a great base for that. So I've let the chicken broth cool. I've taken the colander out, taken the chicken out, and this is what we have left. This is the chicken broth. And then this right here is what we're going to end up using for our pancit, but at the same time, if you want to, you could use this for chicken soup. You could put some, some peas and maybe some carrots in here. Shred up some of that chicken that we boiled and then also put some noodles in there. You got your chicken soup right there. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you click like, make sure you hit subscribe, and check out my other videos. So until next time, talk to you later.